I'm really pleased with your progress. As I'm looking at your report, when you started, you sort of around 6 or 7 for maths and science. Now you're really hitting those top grades, um, grade 8 and 9. So I'm really impressed with you. Congratulations, that's fantastic. But I want to know from you, how do you feel about your improvement, Emmanuel?
Um, well, um, for science, it's been good. Like obviously, I do triple science, so it's each individual bit of it. So for biology and chemistry, I think that's the one that I'm most happy with because those are the two sciences that I find the most difficult. So when I ended up getting good results in those ones, I wasn't shocked, but like I was surprised, like in a good way. But for physics, I usually get those kind of grades. So I was still happy with it, but I wasn't as surprised.
Mhm. Yeah. And what about your for the maths grades? How do you feel? Because you've improved with the maths grade as well. How do you feel about?
The maths grades, usually I would get a little bit higher in maths. So I'm sort of disappointed, not majorly, but
Mhm.
I know I can do better, basically.
Yeah, so I think with the maths, that's the one we need to get you up to. I think looking at your report though, your maths was a little bit lower than your sciences.
Yeah.
So actually you have made an improvement in that, which is really good because you're around an 8 um in maths, so that's great. Now, what I love about your class, and I haven't taught your class in a while, and I really miss that, it's got a lot of students who are really high achievers, who work really hard, who are motivated. Do you find that that helps you in terms of, having that environment? Like, does that sort of help you show up in a certain way? How do you find that in general?
Yeah, I think it's a lot better just not just for me, but for the whole class, because if we're all sort of at a similar level of like how we understand things and stuff, it makes it it makes it a lot easier for example, the teacher, because if you're teaching someone at a similar level, then you don't really have to change the way you're explaining things. And it's easier for me because it's like it adds like a little bit of competitiveness because like it's someone at my level, so I can try to improve stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I've been told that you have a little bit of a competitive streak. I'm always told that, oh, I gave this question and very quickly Emmanuel, jumped in and got that question done. So well done, Emmanuel. That's really good. Um, the other thing as well is homework. You do get your homework weekly. How have you find that has been helping you in terms of making improvements as well?
Um, I think it's helped because it it's sort of like revision, but most revision, obviously, you have to find exam questions and you have to find loads of resources and stuff. So the homework can be a little bit more help without having to actually find it myself. So I'm just given the question and then I can answer it based on that topic instead of having to go through everything myself.
Yeah, and it's all exam question based as well.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing you're now, as I say, hitting those top grades, grade 8 and 9. So I'm guessing you're aiming for grade 9 in both maths and science,
Yeah.
right? And I've also got some information, or I think I remember when I was speaking to your mom earlier that your plan was to go to Cambridge. Is that still the plan for you, or have you got other, universities and that kind of thing in mind?
I mean, if we're talking about university, then yeah, that's sort of my main goal. Obviously, I'll have backups and stuff, but that's my main goal in terms of university. But
Mhm.
for like when I've finished A levels and stuff, I don't think that's the only like route I can take.
Mhm. Sure. What are your plans? What do you have so you've got you said Cambridge University, and then after A levels, have you got other plans?
After A levels, obviously I'll apply to like a few universities and stuff, but
Got it.
also because of the field that I want to go into in terms of career, it would
Hmm.
be it could also have an advantage if I did an apprenticeship, so I
Nice.
could get a degree out of that, but also like experience because
Definitely.
in that kind of industry, experience is something that's really valued stuff.
All right. And what are you planning on going into? What field?
Civil engineering.
Nice. My dad's a civil engineer. So that's excellent. So Emmanuel, what advice would you give to other students who are not happy with where they are at the moment? So, like in your situation, even though you felt that you're fine, but you sort of realize you needed a bit more work. So they're not happy with the way at the moment, but they actually don't know where to start. What advice would you give to some students?
I mean, I would say like if wait, when you say not happy with where they are, do you mean in terms of grades?
Yeah, I would say largely in terms of grades, but just in terms of that kind of achievement that they want. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I would say obviously if they're not happy with where they are, then there's somewhere else they want to get to.
Hmm.
So it would probably be best if they just imagined or thought of where they wanted to get to and then worked backwards from there all the way to where they are now. So they actually have a plan in mind.
Reverse engineering. Fantastic. Excellent. What if there was one thing that you would say has helped you the most with respects to tutoring for your maths and science? What is that one thing? What would you say it is?
Um, I would say probably the class environment, just because for it's different for other people, but for me personally, I prefer that kind of environment because if it's one to one, it sort of feels a little bit too like I don't know the word for it. It just feels a little bit too close. But if I'm in a class, then if I don't understand something, then I could hear someone else in my position explain it as well. So someone else in their own words explain it. So it would make a lot more sense to me instead of just having it just from a teacher.
Yeah, ideas been bounced off each other. And I think that also shows that even though you are, because you're in a triple class, you're a higher class, you still that having someone else, like another student, explain something or another student say, oh, actually, I don't understand this, is still very helpful. It's not only for students who are working at slightly lower grades. Um, and then if a parent or student was thinking about joining us for tutoring, what would you say to them?
Probably just try, like go for it, but with caution, as in go for it, but also when you're doing it for the first time, sort of be really self-aware of like, okay, what exactly am I doing right now? How is it benefiting me? And like, how do I respond to it? So you can actually understand if it's the right thing for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent.